Hi, this is OUR Path to Research, an Office of Undergraduate Research podcast where you'll learn about the incredible variety of research here at MAC.
We'll be sharing tips, insights, and opportunities with students along their path to research. We are your hosts,
Tina
and Hussein. We have two very special guests with us here today from the Department of Biology. They're here to talk about the Student Graduate Shadowing Program. Ranim, would you please like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Ranim. I'm a PhD student in my fourth year. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my research. So our lab in general, interested in studying the physiological basis of how animals adapt to challenging environment. So the environment that we're particularly interested in is the high altitude, which is super challenging due to the low oxygen level, and it's super cold out there. And the animal model that we actually use for our study is the deer mouse. There's such cute mice out there. They can be feisty, but they're cute. And yeah, so they can be found at sea level up to the Rocky Mountain, around 4,300 meters above sea level. My project is mostly focusing on the mitochondrial function. So I don't know how much mitochondria is, that little tiny structure in your cell that provides you the energy, so it's super important. And what I'm interested in looking at is how plastic and evolved changes in the mitochondrial physiology contribute to high altitude adaptation. So that's like a little summary of what I do.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does sound cool.
Sounds awesome. So Milla, could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Milla. I'm currently a second year. Last year I was in the Life Science Gateway program, and now I'm in biology research specialization. And so I had the wonderful opportunity of getting to shadow Ranim last semester under the graduate shadowing program. And so that was a really cool, valuable experience where I kind of got to gain hands-on experience. And I've been really grateful for the opportunity to kind of learn through getting to shadow Ranim.
So Milla, how did you get involved with shadowing Ranim?
Yeah, so it was a very straightforward process. I basically got an email from the bio department, and they were like, hey, we're doing a shadowing program. If you're interested, here is an application. And in the application, there was basically just a list of a bunch of projects that you could be a part of, so different master's and PhD projects. And then you kind of just picked one, whichever one you found interesting. And then at the end of the application, it was just a couple of questions about, why are you interested in research? Why do you want to shadow? But yeah, it was a super easy process, and I was lucky enough to get chosen, and now we're here today.
I'm really glad that it was easy for you. So Ranim, what inspired you to offer mentorship?
Yeah, so I love teaching, so that's something, probably the major idea. But I do like getting people involved in research and seeing other side of that other than sitting in a class that can get boring. And yeah, and another thing, I do understand it can be hard for an undergrad to put themselves out there and take that first step. It can be intimidating talking to a professor and be like, hey, I want to volunteer at your lab or shadow your students. So I thought the program is really cool to give the student that first step.
Okay, that's good to hear about. So Milla, what drew you to specifically shadow Ranim? What made you interested about her research?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in biology. Ever since high school, it's always been one of my favorite subjects. And then when I came to university, I found that I really like cell biology. And since that's a pretty huge part of her project, I think that was the first thing that kind of drew me towards her project specifically over other projects. And then I thought this program would be a really cool way to kind of incorporate the subjects that I'm interested in an actual lab setting. Because I've always been interested in research as well, and it's potentially something that I want to do in the future. And so this program would kind of give me an opportunity to, see the lab, see an actual lab setting, and kind of get involved in McMaster as well. So I think that's what initially drew me to apply.
I'm really glad that you're exploring your curiosity. So could you tell us more about how the program was structured?
Yeah, so the program was around 6 weeks. I went in once a week for around 1 or 2 hours every week. Super low-key, not intense at all. So for the two of us, the first 2 meetings that we did was kind of an introduction to her lab. So I kind of learned all about, what is she researching, why is she doing what she's doing, different methods. We looked at a lot of literature. So for example, we looked at literature surrounding mitochondrial isolation. We also looked at literature for high altitude adaptation. But it was really just a good way to kind of get background information about everything that she's doing. And it was a good transition when we started going into wet lab. Because later on, we started going more into wet lab techniques based on what we learned in the first 2 weeks. So for example, obviously she studies mitochondria, and so we did mitochondria isolation. We also prepared buffers. We did enzymatic assays. We did a lot of different techniques that I've never learned before. And so that was super interesting because it's not really something that you can kind of get in lab classes, and so it was really cool to kind of expand and like see a lot of new techniques that I've never learned before.
Great to hear that those experiences really enhanced your learning, right?
Yeah.
So how did you support Milla throughout this process?
Yeah, it's like what Milla said. So before like we met, I wanted to do like a little course outline to like kind of structure what I want to show her and get like the most benefit as she could and get her excited about the research. And yeah, so like as she mentioned, so I wanted to get her like first of all familiar with the literature, so what we know, what we don't know, and how's my project fit into what we not know in the picture and why we're doing it and why it's so important. And then from there, I wanted her to introduce her to like the wet lab stuff. So kind of everything we read, I wanted to show her in like in action in that sense. Another thing, I wanted her to talk to other graduate students in our lab to see like what each person in our lab is doing, so it gets like that bigger picture of the overall goal of our lab and how does that translate each one of our project translate to that big picture. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of stuff. I just wanted her to get like the best experience as she can and like enjoy it by the end of the day.
I'm glad that you're able to cover so many different cool techniques. So Milla, what was your takeaway from such a cool experience?
Yeah, I think overall this was a really good opportunity to kind of see how labs run and get involved in a lab. And I think also it was kind of a good way to see like, is research something that I actually want to do? Obviously, like throughout undergrad, you're kind of figuring out like, you know, what career do you want to do or what do you want to do after you graduate. And so since I've never really been in a lab before, I thought this was a good way to explore my options and see like, is this a career that I could potentially go into? And so I think that's why this program is really nice for undergraduate students, especially in your first and second year. You know, there's not really a lot of opportunities for first and second years to get into research because, you know, you're kind of in the beginning of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so this program really allows you to get the ball rolling and like actually get you involved and like start your academic journey.
Mm-hmm.
Great to hear that you had those opportunities right in the beginning where a lot of students don't have those opportunities.
Yeah.
And you could like figure out as a result what you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So throughout this process, what did you specifically enjoy when you mentored Milla?
Well, Milla is such an amazing person. She always comes super excited. She's positive, so she's ready to learn. So that's nice because like if you have like a person that like don't want to learn and even like they're like shy and don't want to like do much, it can get like restricted. So that was really nice having Milla around because she's always excited no matter what I tell her like that's what we're doing. She's like, oh my god, let's do it. Yeah, so I guess like that was like the major reason. Like she made it fun. So it was like by the end of it we're actually two people having a conversation and doing the science. So
I'm so glad you guys were able to bond like that. So, Milla, now that the program is over, do you think like it's helped you with your journey, your research journey so far?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's definitely a good way to kind of see like how labs are actually running and like how research actually happens in the real life, because you do a lot of theory in your classes and stuff, but actually seeing like, okay, this is a career for a lot of people has been really cool and really interesting. And even now, I'm volunteering in her lab that she works at under Dr. Scott, and so that has been really cool because it's been a nice experience to kind of go beyond just the shadowing, which I've really enjoyed as well.
I'm really glad that you were able to continue in the lab and that it opened those doors for you. So Ranim, do you think you'd consider continuing to allow shadowies join you in the future?
oh yeah, 100%. I really enjoyed the program. It's super cool, and yeah, I'll be down to do it again. I was supposed to do it this term, but like I've been traveling for research, so I don't have time to do it. But yeah,
That's understandable.
yeah, I'll be down to do it again.
Since we're speaking of shadowing, you'd be happy to know that the Office of Undergraduate Research is launching these new research courses in spring 2025. One of them involves shadowing a graduate student and earning a course credit for it. So it actually gives you that extra incentive and formalizes the whole experience. So I'll ask you first, how do you think these courses can improve the students' learning?
Yeah, so this is a really good program. Well, yeah, first of all, as I mentioned maybe before, like it is super hard to go like intimidating to be like to go to the professor and be like, hey, I want to shadow you, or like shadow one of your graduate student, or like volunteer, especially if you're first and second year. still you don't know what much you want to do. And like I know a lot of the biology, maybe the biology stream, I'm not sure about other program, there is a research stream where like in their fourth year they have to do an undergraduate thesis project. So because I do TA a lot of my third year courses, so a lot of the students come panicking to me. I was like, oh my God, like who can I talk to and like how can I do it and stuff. So I feel like if they know about those programs before, they start building that connection, which is good. Like Milla right now, like she's volunteering. If she's still interested in what we're doing, she could like start like making more connection with the like our supervisor, and like maybe she'll end up doing an undergraduate thesis program, like undergraduate thesis project, which is much easier than a student that have never talked to a professor. So I do think it does help that connection and start to get you there. And maybe like just in case if you don't enjoy it, research cannot be for you, at least you know like in your second years, oh my God, I would never do this. So if you're in a research stream, you could like switch in that sense.
I definitely agree it could help.
Yeah.
Help people figure out what they're trying to do.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Yeah.
So Milla, based on your experience, would you recommend a course like that to other students?
Oh yeah, 100%. I had a really great experience, and I'm sure other mentees also had good experiences as well. I think I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is passionate about research and who's also interested in going into research one day as well. There's so many PhD and master's students that there's such a wide variety of projects depending on your interests, and so you can kind of explore what you're interested in and different subjects and different careers, and so it's a really nice way to kind of move you along your academic journey and get involved at McMaster as well.
So everyone listening, please be on the lookout for these new research courses dropping spring 2025. These can lead you to get research experience just like Milla got her experience with Ranim.
So thank you guys so much for all your time, and I hope your research journey goes amazing.
Thank
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Thanks for listening. Have a burning question?
Want to learn about engaging events and research opportunities?
Feel free to DM us on our Instagram at McMasterOUR, and thank you for joining us on this journey.
We hope we helped you throughout your path to research. Bye.
Bye.